Have you ever watched professional drummers and wondered how they can play so fast and so consistently for such a long period of time? Well, they all have something in common. So many of them are using the Moeller Method or Moeller technique. By the end of this video, you'll have all the tools you need to apply this technique yourself and take your drumming to the next level. The Moeller technique isn't something that just popped up in a practice room or a recording studio. It has deep historical roots. Sanford Moeller developed this approach after closely observing Civil War era parade drummers. These drummers weren't relying on brute force to create big resonant sounds. Instead, they used a fluid motion, a technique that harnessed their whole bodies for maximum efficiency. The downstroke initiates the motion, and the upstroke is what prepares you for the cycle to continue. And the combination of those two strokes is what gets you that famous whipping motion. Even though this technique has been around for generations, we're all so fortunate that drummers like Dom Famularo, Klaus Hessler, Bruce Becker, and Jim Chapin have dedicated their lives to making sure this technique gets passed on to the next generation of drummers. This isn't a niche method, it's a cornerstone of drumming proficiency that's used by most, if not all, drummers around the world. Now that you know why this technique is such a powerful tool, let's break it down step by step. So one of the best ways to get a feel for this technique is using an exercise called down, tap, up. And let's go through what each of those actually are. So starting with the downstroke, a downstroke starts high and ends low. A tap stroke is starting low and ending low. So we just finished in a low position with that downstroke, and then we're just gonna basically drop the stick. Now the last one, the upstroke, is starting low and ending high.
Moeller is an interesting technique because it mixes two different muscular groups. It mixes the muscular groups that you're going to use on your wrist, but it also uses all the action and all the motion that you can get from your forearm and basically your whole arm. You are going to drop the whole arm down for the first stroke, and you are going to get some action with the wrist as well. So first hit, once you take the arm up, the wrist is automatically going to bend to produce that second hit, okay? So you hit, and when you go up, the stick is already hitting. 2 strokes for the price of 1.
We've learned those 3 different motions, and in this section we want to break down the 3 most popular ways you can actually use the Moeller technique, and we're going to use note values to differentiate each of them. Starting with the 2-stroke Moeller, let's consider these 8th notes. We're only using a downstroke and an upstroke. Down, up. Down, up. If we were to put that 2-note Moeller over on the hi-hats like this, and that's probably the most common way to get started working in the 2-stroke Moeller into your playing. Now going to the 3-stroke Moeller, this is the down, tap, up. It's a 3-note cycle. Down, tap, up. For this case, let's use a basic groove in 6/8 time, and we're going to be accenting beat 1 and beat 4. And one thing you'll also notice, especially on the 3-stroke and the 4-stroke Moeller, is the lift that happens as we approach the next downstroke. It can start to happen on those tap strokes as well. You may see my hands start to lift just a little bit, and that's just all part of developing the flow with the Moeller technique. Now the last one we're looking at is the 4-stroke Moeller. So in this one, all we're going to be doing is adding 1 more tap stroke. Down, tap, tap, up. 1 strike, 4 notes. So this is going to be like a one-handed 16th note hi-hat groove.
If I can offer, with Moeller, with the left hand, you really want to have this motion, this outward kind of motion. And one very clear way to do that on a drum set is to play on the snare drum to the hi-hat. So it gives you a clear visual of and the Moeller works best with 3s and 4s. If I go to 2, it's clunky. So for me, traditional grip, I'll use a different motion. The function of Moeller is to get a big sound with the least amount of effort.
One of my favorite drum fills to look at when working on the Moeller technique is the single paradiddle. So let's break that down on the pad first. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. The motions are baked into that pattern. So if we slow that down, down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap. We're going to play all the downstrokes on the floor tom and the rack tom. So if it's a right-handed downstroke, it'll be on the floor. If it's a left-handed downstroke, it'll be on the rack tom. All the other notes will be on the snare drum, so that's all the tap strokes and the upstrokes. So you can see when I'm moving around, when I play that upstroke, that gives me enough time to actually get to the next drum I'm going to hit. And that's where the efficiency and the fluidity comes from. It's those upstrokes, those preparation strokes, and it gives us a lot of power when we're hitting those accents on the toms. I hope you take the time to dive into this even further. Inside of Drumeo, we have so many more courses and lessons on this technique, and you can try them out for free. So you can go to the link down in the description. You can try Drumeo free for 7 days, and you can dive even deeper into this technique. We've covered a lot of ground up until this point, and hopefully you're starting to feel comfortable with all of these motions in the Moeller technique. We're going to get into a workout. We're going to work on some of these ideas together. So grab your sticks and let's jump in. All right, nice work. You made it through the 2-stroke Moeller. Now the track is going to change a little bit. We're going to go to the 3-stroke, playing a groove in 6/8 time. Remember, this is going to be down, tap, up, and then the cycle repeats. Here we go. All right, nice work everyone. That was the 3-stroke Moeller. Now we're going to be adding one extra note. We're going to be playing a one-handed 16th note groove on the hi-hats. Remember, 4-stroke Moeller is down, tap, tap, up, and then the cycle repeats. Here we go. Okay, now we're moving on to the drum fill. We're going to be working on the single paradiddle. Downstrokes are played on the floor tom and on the rack tom with all the other notes played on the snare drum. And remember, the motions are down, up, tap, tap. Here we go. So there it is, that's the Moeller technique, one of the most important drum techniques you'll ever learn as a drummer. And speaking from personal experience, this technique completely changed the game for me. I used to hold the sticks pretty much with a locked grip. I thought I had good technique, I thought I was moving around the kit efficiently, but it wasn't until someone told me about this technique that it completely changed the game for me. So I hope you take the time to dive into this even further, apply this into your grooves, your fills, the songs you're working on, and all that stuff. And inside of Drumeo, we have so many more courses and lessons on this technique with lots of different teachers, and you can try them out for free. So you can go to the link down in the description. You can try Drumeo free for 7 days, and you can dive even deeper into this technique. So I hope you go check it out. And with that, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.